Hello guys, welcome back to our channel. Today is part 2 of Vlogoween, and as you can tell, we are celebrating the birth of an American hero. It is Michael Myers' birthday. He was born October 19th, 1957. Today is actually a really fun video for me. We are going to count down the top Halloween films. Now keep in mind when we do this, we are not going to include Rob Zombie's films. I realize they are part of the Halloween series. However, these movies that we're going to count down all tie back to the original Halloween in some way, shape, or form. And that one is just a complete different remake and sequel. So we are just going to count down those movies. Halloween has a special place in my heart though. Always has been and will be like my favorite scary movie slasher film. So that's what we got in store for you today. Pretty excited. So let's get into the countdown. So we're gonna start at the back and work towards the front because that's what you do in any countdown. So
you want to start from our least favorite?
Least favorite, yep.
Number 11 on our list is Season of the Witch.
So this one though is kind of its own separate movie. What's interesting about this that I was just reading recently is that John Carpenter and Deborah Hill had an idea of doing anthology Halloween films where each Halloween had its own story. That's where this movie came from. This movie did terrible in the box office, and
for a good reason.
So they decided to do away with that, and Return of Michael Myers came back in Halloween 4. So Halloween 3, Season of the Witch, is our least favorite. Nothing to do with the man that we're celebrating today, which is why it's at the bottom of our list.
Number 10 on our list is Halloween Resurrection. So that's Halloween 8. Correct?
Yes. Yeah, it's the direct sequel to H2O. The idea around it was reality TV was a big deal, I think, at that time. Mm-hmm. And so they did went back to Michael Myers' house and filmed it, and the movie just didn't work. Busta Rhymes, if you watched that movie, oh man, that was rough.
The positive I will say about that movie is I think Michael Myers is so scary in that movie. Yeah, I love his mask. I love the way he moves. I think he's probably the scariest Michael Myers for me for the series. He's
one of them. They did a really good job with the mask. You'll see in some of the other ones that we're going to go through, the mask is awful, but the movie is good. This is the opposite of that.
Number 9 on our list is Halloween Ends.
The most recent Halloween that they just came out with, where Michael Myers takes the back seat to a new character that they bring along. Not a fan of the story as a whole. I think the movie could have been really good. The two movies that came before that, Halloween 2018 and Halloween Kills, were both, I thought, really good movies. This one just did not hit.
Oh my gosh, I just remember seeing this movie in the movie theater and laughing at how horrible it was.
It was tough. This is a funny story though about this. This is the first movie that first Halloween movie Cohen ever watched in the theater, because we let him go to the theater with us, didn't we?
Yeah.
Yeah, and he
Parents of the Year.
He wasn't impressed though. He didn't love it. So.
Number 8 on our list is Halloween 2.
So let me just say that it was hard to come up with this list because we have different opinions about these movies. I thought Halloween 2 should be higher on this list, but you and Callie did not like this movie, so we put it low. It's the direct sequel to the original, and funny story with the mask too. The mask is warped in this movie, and the mask is warped because Deborah Hill, who is one of the executive producers, and she helped create the movie with John Carpenter, kept the mask under her bed for 3 years after the original, and she was a big smoker. And because of her smoking, it warped the mask, and the mask looked weird. You would think after the first one they could afford to,
to redo it.
Just do a new mask, but apparently that wasn't in the budget. The mask looks weird. The movie itself, though, I thought was good. It had a lot of the same themes as the original, which is why I liked it. Mm-hmm. But you guys weren't a fan of it, so it's low on our list. Number 7 is Halloween 6, The Curse of Michael Myers.
For me, obviously Paul Rudd wins the award for this movie. I love Paul Rudd. So I love that he's in this. I think Michael Myers is really scary in this one too.
They took a shot with this movie. They tried to explain the reason for why Michael is the way he is. But I think Michael has always worked best for me, just by like knowing that he's just a psycho and a serial killer. Like that's all I need to know for him to like. Don't make it too complicated. So they made it to where this was a curse for him, and it just I didn't love it. But we actually just watched the producer's cut,
For the first time.
which is the first time we ever watched it yesterday. And it is a different movie. Like the ending is different. There's some scenes in there that are added. I liked the producer's cut more than the theatrical version, which is the only one we ever watched before. So if you guys haven't watched that, I do recommend seeing it, because if you're a fan of Michael Myers, like it's fun. It's fun to watch. But yeah, this movie's just not one of our favorites. It is what it is.
I think there's some really cool scenes in this movie, like the whole thunderstorm through the whole movie, and Michael Myers is constantly seen in the windows in a few shots, right?
It's got some good scares too, yeah.
And he just looks so cool, like the lightning flashing, and he's like in the window, like staring at them. Yeah. It's really cool.
If not for the story itself, I think this movie would be a lot higher. It's a good movie all around. Number 6 is Halloween Kills. Yes, the sequel to Halloween 2018 that kind of revived the franchise a little bit. I'm a fan of this movie. What ties this movie back to the movie that's last on our list, Season of the Witch, is they actually have kids in this movie that are wearing the Halloween mask from Season of the Witch. That if you're not familiar with Season of the Witch, there's this toy company that makes these masks, and the masks have these chips in them, and the chips basically like explode and kill kids. This movie actually kind of does a little homage to that, and they have kids wearing those masks, which is kind of funny.
Yeah, I love how they brought back some of the original characters from
a lot of them.
Original Halloween. Yep. Lindsay, the little girl that Annie is babysitting, is in this movie.
The actual girl.
Yeah.
So like, and the nurse too. The nurse who actually makes an appearance in H2O as well, even though it's separate canon. She's in a few of the films. She's in it, and they got a different person to play Tommy, who was in the original, but Tommy the character is still back. Lonnie's in it from the original too. So they brought back a lot of fun characters from the original, so that makes it worth a watch too. But I thought there was some good kills in the movie. This one is kind of like Michael Myers on a killing spree, more so than any other Halloween movie there ever has been. But I enjoyed it. There are some aspects of it that just, doesn't make it the best. That's why it's kind of in the middle of the pack on this list. Leave it at that. Number 5 is Halloween 5. Revenge of Michael Myers.
I think the first half of this movie is good. Like before Michael Myers is killing anyone. I like how Jamie's in like that mental I like how Jamie's in that mental institution for like kids, and she can't talk. And she's somehow like connected to Michael Myers. I like Tina in this movie. I think she's kind of fun and very like 80s vibe. I love that. But the second half where he's actually like killing people, not the best. The whole farm scene and party scene, kind of boring.
I think this movie drags on more than any movie, Halloween movie for me. This is kind of, it seems like they added elements to this movie and didn't know where they were going with it, because they started the whole element with like the man in black with the hat and everything, but then like it was up to the people who made the 6th movie to kind of like go with that. So it was weird. It kind of, some of it doesn't make sense, but I think for me, this is another one where it's hard coming up with a list that we all agree on, because you like this movie. For me, it's lower on my list. I don't love it. I think that it just lacks the normal Halloween feel for me. I don't like that Jamie is like mute for most of the movie. She does a really good job though. The actress Danielle Harris, who plays her, does an amazing job as a kid actor.
She's so cute.
She's awesome, so good. But yeah, for me, it's not my favorite. Number 4 is Halloween 4, The Return of Michael Myers. All right, so The Return of the Man, The Shape. All right, so this is the one right after Season of the Witch when they realized that they needed Michael Myers to try and make money for the Halloween movies.
For sure.
He comes back after he was kind of blown up in the hospital after being in like a coma for 7 years or 10 years, whatever it was. This movie to me feels like a Halloween movie. Jamie is introduced to the little girl we just talked about. I just think the movie as a whole goes great. But like we were talking about earlier, how Resurrection has a good mask, but a bad movie. This is a good movie with the absolute worst Michael Myers mask. The mask looks so bad in this movie. I don't know. This movie may even be higher on our list if that mask wasn't so terrible.
It's so bad.
It just looks really, really bad. Outside of that, though, if you can get by the mask looking terrible, the movie itself is a really good movie.
I do like that Jamie is kind of connected to Michael Myers in a way, and like stabs her mom at the end of the movie, like Michael Myers did to his sister in the original.
Yeah, the story is she's supposed to be Laurie, which Jamie Lee Curtis's character is supposed to be Laurie's daughter. Laurie died in a car accident, supposedly. Obviously, Halloween has a lot of confusing storylines. This one is 4, 5, and 6 is kind of its own storyline, and then everything else is kind of its own storyline too, in a way. But yeah, that's the story of this one. That's where Jamie comes from. But yeah, she has that like connection to her uncle, which is Michael Myers.
And she's wearing the same clown costume that Michael
that's
wears.
what she picked out at the hardware store and everything.
And so she like tries to kill her mom in the same costume with a knife, just like Michael did with his sister.
Yep. Yeah, so I like how it does tie all in. It's kind of neat. But I like this movie, but the mask is terrible. Number 3.
The legendary H2O. I love this movie. I think we both love this movie.
We do love this movie. It's one of those movies, like, there's so many references. They reference Psycho a lot. Jamie Lee Curtis's mother, who played one of the leads in Psycho, she's in the movie, makes an appearance. There's a lot of references back to the original Halloween 2 because this is Jamie Lee Curtis returning since Halloween 2. It's just good in every way. It's so good. I love it.
Where it takes place. It takes place in like that boarding school.
First one that doesn't take place in Haddonfield.
Yeah, it's really cool. And Laurie's like really protective of her son, who he's not in any of the other movies, but she's really protective of him.
So again, they disregard 4, 5, and 6 completely.
Yeah.
It pretty much is like a sequel to Halloween 2. So it doesn't have anything to do with 4, 5, and 6, different storyline and everything, but it's such a good movie. You don't love Michael Myers' mask. I do like it. Me and Callie like the mask in that movie, but there's so many scenes that are remembrance.
Iconic scene.
Yeah.
Like one of my favorite scenes in the whole series is when they're face to face through the door window. Laurie sees Michael for the first time in the movie, and they're staring at each other through that window, and it's like,
so good.
Crap.
It's like, it just like makes the hair on your arms stand up. It's so
cool.
Good. So good. So definitely deserving of being in our top 5. So it's awesome. Number 2 is Halloween 2018. Yeah. So no coincidence that it is the actual direct sequel to Halloween 1. According to this, again, it disregards 2, 4, 5, and 6, and H2O and Resurrection, all those. To me, this movie really brought back like the scare factor of Michael Myers. Like, there are, again, just like we talked about H2O, where there's a lot of scenes that are like just scenes that you remember. This one has them too for me. Like when he's chasing Laurie's granddaughter and the lights of the house are like the flash, they're like censored lights and they're going on and off, and you see him and he disappears. So good.
Super scary scenes in this movie.
The scene with the friend
closet.
in the closet, it's so good.
Closet scene with the little boy.
So many good scenes.
I've never really been afraid of Michael Myers until this movie. Like, he scares me in
The
this
bathroom
movie.
scene with the teeth and everything.
Oh, it's so scary.
Oh man, it's so good.
Such a good movie.
Really good.
I always tell Gary that the one thing I don't like about this movie is how they portrayed Laurie to be like a crazy person because she can't get over what happened to her when she was a teenager.
And it was like 40 years ago.
It was 40 years ago, and Laurie was like kind of a nerd. She was very driven. You can like bookworm, and I don't think her character matched who she was in the original, and I don't really like that.
Yeah, it's different. They kind of do that in H2O 2, which is 20 years later, and she's also kind of like paranoid, and she's a drunk, and so I think they kind of played off of that a little bit. But yeah, I think it is a little too much because I think, you know, at 40 years. When it was just one night, I don't know if that would stick for you for that long. I mean, I don't know. I've never gone through anything that traumatic.
I mean, it could.
So it could, but you would think, you know, after that amount of time that you would have moved on.
Yeah, I mean, she gets her child taken away from her. She tells her granddaughter to screw college. Like, I don't think Laurie would be saying that.
Yeah,
I don't think her character would
she was
be.
she was like a book nerd, and
Yeah.
you know, she was all into school and everything. So I don't know. That was their take on it. That's how they wanted to go with it. But I thought the movie as a whole was excellent. It was so good. Loved it. I wish that Kills and Ends kind of lived up to that one in a way, but I think those both were kind of a letdown after the Halloween 2018.
And that leads us to number one. I would say
No surprise.
I would say 2018 would be my favorite. But the original is such a classic. It has to be number one on our list.
Yeah, no surprise there. The one that started it all, John Carpenter, Deborah Hill, basically produced this movie with no money. Originally, it was going to be called The Babysitter Killer.
Babysitter Murderer.
Something like that. And they sat on Halloween, found, you know, and it just the rest is history. I mean, they produced the movie with like $50,000 and directed it and everything. And then, like, now look at it. It's spawned how many different sequels and movies. And the Michael Myers character is Halloween. Like, he is what everyone thinks of when they think of Halloween. So to me, it's like it's always going to be like my favorite.
For
no
sure.
matter what.
Yeah. I love that 70s cheesiness of it, like the horrible
really
acting
is, yeah.
from the girls, like the teenage girls, the girl that's always like, totally. I love her. Like, it's just so cheesy, and I love that.
Yeah, I mean, that, like we said, like they didn't go out and get like huge actors to play these roles. They had no money to spend on anything. So it's just funny. It's amazing what they were able to do with what they had, and how they were able to still make the movie so scary. And like at the time, it was like the ultimate scary movie. It brought the scary movie genre back, because I think even though Texas Chainsaw Massacre came out before that, I think Halloween kind of spawned everything else. It spawned Nightmare on Elm Street. We got Friday the 13th out of it. You got Hellraiser. All these movies that came after it. And then Scream in the 90s. So I mean, it really kind of revived the scary movie industry, which is pretty awesome.
And I didn't live back then, but I feel like watching that then would be such a big deal, like the stalker, like who's kind of watching you walk home from school and stuff. It gives you a very eerie feeling, and I love it. Yeah,
it's just the best. So that's our list. Obviously that's just our list. That, you know, that's the movies that we feel from best to worst, where we rank them. If you disagree or you agree, please put a comment down below. Obviously be nice with your comments. We don't want any like hate mail or anything like that. It's just our opinions.
I would love to hear everyone else's opinion, because I always feel like everyone's list is
Everyone
so
has
different.
a different list. Everyone has a different list. But Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video though. This is again something that I love talking about. Halloween is my favorite horror film franchise, so my absolute favorite thing to talk about.
So happy birthday, Michael Myers.
Happy birthday. Yes. And thanks for watching, guys. If you like this video, don't forget to hit the like button. It helps out this video and our videos going forward. So again, we'll see you tomorrow for Vlogoween 3. All right, have a great day.
See you real soon.
Bye.